What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Eric's House. This is Eric, and today I'm talking The Surfer with Nicolas Cage. I checked this movie out knowing nothing about it, going in completely blind. All I knew it was called The Surfer, so presumably it's something about surfing, and I knew it had Nicolas Cage in it, which is what put me in the theater seat, because I know Nicolas Cage, even if the movie is bad, hey, he's usually going to be pretty entertaining, and there's going to be at least something here to enjoy. Turns out it's about a guy played by Nicolas Cage who's a father who's trying to buy this home at this beachfront property where he can hit the waves with his son. This is like his dream of his. He wants to get his son into it as well, and he wants to go back to this childhood home that he used to live at and hit those same waves that he used to hit. And he even takes his son there, but they run into a little trouble because there's a local group that pretty much owns these waters and this beach, and they have a mantra: don't live here, don't surf here. Except in an awesome Australian accent, but I don't want to butcher it, so I won't even try. But this movie does take place in Australia, so lots of awesome Australian. I love the Australian accent, so that's really pleasant to hear throughout the film. Has such a laid-back feel, but also can be extremely intimidating if you run into the wrong people like he does at this beach. But the movie starts out fairly straightforward and serious. Nicolas Cage is a father. He's driving around with the son. You can tell the son's a little hesitant. He's not into it, dude. He's not into it. He doesn't want to live his father's dreams. He doesn't even seem to like surfing that much. He just wants to go the freak home, and he's really not making any secret of it. But Nicolas Cage is blinded by this, doesn't really notice this, or doesn't want to notice it. So he's trying to get his son into surfing. And at the beginning of the film, I'm thinking, okay, this looks like it's going to be a serious movie. Okay, I was looking for a little crazy Nick Cage, but hey, I'll take this. It's a nice setup, and it's interesting already, running into these locals here at the beach, this kind of gang. I mean, this has got a really gangy feel, and they are not letting anyone surf unless you're a local. And so you can see the conflict there brewing, and then eventually the kid ends up at home, and Nicolas Cage is kind of stuck there fighting against these guys, having car troubles. And anyway, so just the setup is interesting. But what I didn't know was that this film was actually going to be a really awesome psychological thriller, as Nick Cage ends up kind of stuck there dealing with these locals who don't just prevent him from surfing. They are extremely brutal, extremely violent, and it is even said in the film they're a bunch of bullies, it seems. I mean, really awful, horrible bullies. They'll steal from you, they'll beat you to a bloody pulp, whatever. And meanwhile, Nick Cage's character stuck there in the heat, in the brutal atmosphere, and starting to have bad luck after bad luck. A lot of bad things are happening, not to mention dealing with this gang. And as he starts to devolve into basically insanity, and we're as an audience not understanding what's really happening, what's not really happening, waiting for reveals to happen. And I just loved the entire ride, and I won't spoil anything as far as what happens precisely, because I think you might want to check it out. But Nicolas Cage is phenomenal in this role of this guy who just, like I said, just completely melts down psychologically and physically minute by minute, and everything is going wrong. It kind of reminds me, and maybe many people can think of situations they've been in where it's just like one thing goes wrong after another. Eventually it gets kind of funny because people look at him like they think the guy's homeless, and they want, do you need some food or anything? He's like, what? No. This kind of starts to get funny because he's presented as a relatively successful guy trying to buy a really expensive house. I mean, he's not super rich or anything. That's why it's kind of tough to get the house. And he's trying to buy this house, talking to the realtor or whatever, and trying to buy this house, trying to outbid the next person, get loans, and find a way to make it work. It doesn't seem like it's going to happen, but he's really dedicated, and he wants it to happen. And he's not going to just leave this area because of these bullies. So he's going to deal with them while dealing with so much else that's going on during this time. But the movie is just, to me, I was absolutely engaged watching this meltdown happen and trying to figure out what's really going on. There's another actual homeless man in the film who does a fantastic job, and he's critical to the plot. And I'm trying to figure out, where does he come in? Where is this like a Nick Cage, or is this his future? What? So many questions with no answers, hoping to get answers, but absolutely loving the ride because of Nick Cage's eccentricities. Just Nick Cage, this character was made for him, and it gets funny, it gets a little bit heartbreaking, and it's the entire time, to me anyway, super interesting and engaging and very, very entertaining. And that's what a movie's supposed to do. And this one absolutely succeeds. You really hate these bullies. You absolutely despise them. You realize the cops are on their side. They're not helping. Nick Cage is, you feel for him, but at the same time, you wonder, what's really going on here? What are we going to find out? And that's what the movie does best, to me anyway. Just keeping me on the edge, keeping me thinking, keeping me watching for clues, trying to figure out exactly what's happening here, because the way the camera shoots these scenes and the different angles and the music is absolutely phenomenal. It all comes together to create a feeling of, this ain't real, but could it be? What's really happening? What's just in Nick Cage's mind? And then Nick Cage's character will even try to do some tests to figure out if he's tripping. Is he really a relatively successful guy, or maybe he's just a homeless nobody? Nobody believes him when he tries to tell people what's happening. Like, they think he's just another random homeless guy down on his luck, and he gets to the point where he starts scaring people. It's so bad, and just everything that happens, and just the complete de-evolution of his character and the descent into madness is what this movie is all about, and what I'm there for. But I'll also say, the way the film concluded, the way that the payoffs and the answers, I still don't totally get it. I think some stuff might have went over my head. It's a movie I have to watch again. It's possible it just wasn't that great of an ending. Maybe, not that satisfying of an ending. It didn't feel particularly satisfying to me the way it ended, but I might have missed something. I think I did. I think I missed like a key message or something that really indicated what the entire ride was about. But either way, even if the ending wasn't satisfactory, the ride to get there was, and it was really enjoyable, and I would love to watch this one again. I know there has to be a lot that I missed, that I didn't quite comprehend, so I would love to watch it again, but I really enjoyed it. A lot of people don't seem to have liked it. Rotten Tomatoes score is not too impressive as far as the audience goes, but I thought this was a really fun movie. By no means is it one of the greatest of all time or a masterpiece or anything. I'm not hearing a lot of buzz about it, but I thought it was a really cool movie, and I just well done from like I said, from the camera angles, from the cinematography to the music to the acting, all the way around. It just really surprised me as the movie went along, not knowing exactly where we were going, because it seemed to be a straightforward film about a father-son trying to buy a beachfront property, and there's some locals who are a little bit rude. I mean, that's where I thought we were going, and it was going to be kind of a drama. But oh my gosh, it definitely did not disappoint as far as giving me the Nick Cage I was looking for, and we definitely get that in spades. And overall, I thought this was a great film. In fact, I'm going to say a little bit better than that. This was freaking awesome, in my opinion. And I only say, I mean, maybe it's a masterpiece if I watch it 2 or 3 more times and kind of comprehend the ending. But I'm just going to say for now, freaking awesome movie, and I highly recommend it. But again, a lot of people don't like it, so maybe I'm tripping. And I really can't think of a ton of negatives. I just thought it was a lot of fun to watch, a lot of fun to listen to the Australian accents throughout the movie, because I love an Australian accent. And just a fun ride. That's all I can say about that. A super fun ride, and one of the best times in the theaters I've had in 2025. But let me know what you guys think. Have you seen The Surfer? Give me your thoughts down in that comment section. I appreciate you checking out the review. Hit the thumbs up and the subscribe if you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you in the next one.